Moderators is 3 people, so I guess it's me.
Carlo.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, it's you today.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Yes.
Hello. Do you want to introduce yourselves, Andrea and Ralph? Maybe I'm the third one.
Yeah. Okay. Ralph, want to start, or I can start, whatever.
I don't mind. Yeah. So I'm Ralph Young. I know some of the names already. But for those who don't know me, I look after video localization at Dell Technologies, and I've been a moderator since last year. So happy to talk to anyone about anything about video, multimedia, audiovisual localization, and AI.
Yeah. So hello, everybody. I'm Andrea Ballista, and I'm CEO of VoiceAid. We're doing a system for expressive AI speech, and of course, very passionate about audiovisual things in general. And of course, here to support. I'm moderator from, let's say, 1 year, like Frank. Yes, Carlo, it's your time.
Now, yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Carlo from University of Leeds. I'm the program manager of the Master in Audiovisual Translation and Localization. And today I will talk about easy language, and in particular, easy to read language in the audiovisual context. Hello, everyone. I see some familiar names. Some are colleagues, so hello and bear with me. Today Leeds is super sunny, UK, Yorkshire, normally rainy. Today is a great day. I will start by sharing my screen. Share sound, share screen, share button. So you should be able to see it. Can you confirm, please?
I confirm I see it. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, and you say it's presentation mode, right? Not editing
Yes.
mode. Okay,
Yes.
great.
Looks good.
So in the next, I don't know how many minutes I have actually, but say 40 minutes, 30 minutes, so that we allow 15 minutes for discussion, I will talk of something that I've already dealt with in previous meetings, meaning what is easy language. So I will go easily, smoothly and quickly on this. I will also very quickly talk about the rules when it comes to grammar, meanings, and multimodality. I will talk a little bit about the intended users and beneficiaries because, yeah, this is something that we still don't, me included, we don't understand. So there are people who think that the beneficiaries are a specific target of people, and other people who say it's another or a larger, wider target audience. I will spend some time about easy language used in the audiovisual. I will also touch upon very quickly other case studies. And then I thought this was a practical webinar. So I've also prepared homework, but instead of going for the homework, because we don't have time, I will show you what the end of the what I did as homework. Okay, so in a sense, this is going to be preserved as part of the presentation. Always feel free to interrupt me if you think I'm saying something very wrong, or if I say something that you don't understand. My English is far from perfect, so feel free to interrupt me and ask. But I will try and make sure that we have a few minutes at the end of the presentation for discussion. So what is easy language? Easy language is a lot of things. I think that we have agreed in the research community that easy language doesn't exist. It's an umbrella term encompassing a lot of different understandings of a form of simplification of the written language or of the spoken language or of both, so that it is easier for a specific target audience or readership to understand it. Anna Matamala, who is one of the most well-known researchers in the field, has analyzed this field, and she came with these 12 ideas of language simplification that are all included in what we mean by easy language. You may see some expressions that you are more familiar with, like plain language, for example. That is something that is there at least 30, 40 years now, especially in North America. The other expressions are expressions that are used for specific or less specific aims. For example, clear communication was once developed for a specific target of people, but today I would like to talk of a very specific type of easy language, meaning easy to read language. Why this? Because of several reasons. The first one is that easy to read language is codified. So we have norms that support the idea of easy to read language, and these norms are not interpretable. They are already super clear, and they are not as vague as some guidelines in other fields are. So they do not simply say use short sentences, but it also tells you how many words to use, or how maximum, what is the maximum number of words to use. Plus, it's another reason why I go for easy to read language is because easy to read language is for a very specific target group, which is people with intellectual disabilities. And people with intellectual disabilities covers a huge range of people who have something in common, meaning that their understanding of a language is limited compared to standard people, and the IQ is 70. So, and this is something that the American Association of People with Intellectual Disabilities have already stated for ages. This is what people who use who are intellectually disabled have in common. So in it, you have people with intellectual disabilities, with cognitive disabilities, but there are people with cognitive disabilities who have a much higher IQ. Some of them have an IQ which is above standard. So it is only those specific people that have an IQ that is 70 or below that are targeted in easy-to-read language. There are translations in all the languages of the European Union. So it is also quite well spread and used in the market. Easy language includes two main codified, another codified category is not only easy to read, is also plain language. There is an ISO standard, but I will not deal with plain language today, even if ISO is working today on trying to understand how to adapt plain language in translation, in interpreting, and in audio-visual translation. The process has just started. There are different understanding of it. For now, we have an ISO standard for written plain language in general, not in translation, not in interpreting, not in audio-visual translation. However, easy-to-read language has started being used in audiovisual translation. There is in particular a project called EASIT that is now over, that has produced guidelines when it comes to subtitling and audio descriptions. And they are based on the idea that easy-to-read language is the variation of language that is easy to read and understand for people with reading difficulties, which is a wide category, an umbrella term again, including people with reading difficulties, people with little command of the language, people with poor literacy, and so forth. So the target audience, as we will see later, is wider than the original target addresses of easy-to-read language. So very quickly, some rules as per the document that the European Union has approved and is currently using in the translation of their website, meaning Information for All, produced by Inclusion Europe, which is the Federation of Associations in Defense of People with Intellectual Disabilities across Europe. They say, I have summarized them because the document is 40 pages, but you can find it online in the various languages. They say that you should have maximum one sentence, and as we will see later, one sentence means one idea unit. Then the sentence should be followed by a full stop, and then you go to a new line so that it is clear that that is one idea, and then we move to the following one. Every sentence should have a linker to the previous one or other markers if it is the first sentence. The sentence structure should be the linear one, so subject, verb, object, and then the indirect objects. Here, of course, things change depending on languages because there are some languages where the linear order is different. But when it comes to English, that is the understanding of linear word order. When it comes to subordinate clauses, they say maximum one subordinate clause per sentence. So a sentence with a primary clause and a subordinate clause. No sentences in negative form, no sentences in a passive form. There are exceptions, of course, because sometimes the passive form is easier and more common. But in general, when it comes to standard language, negative sentences and affirmative sentences should be preferred to negative and passive sentences. When it comes to semantics, so the meanings, how they should be expressed, Information for All says that we need to aim at simple words that all know. This is quite a vague definition of simple words. There are some languages where you have a basic vocabulary. We have one in Italian. There is one for English that contains something like 800 words. And these words are the ones that we may agree that everyone knows. So, for example, in the clip that I will show later, the word schedule is replaced by the word plan. Now, I'm not a native speaker of English, but to me, plan is easier to understand than schedule. But there may be native speakers who find maybe actually the English native speakers that we have here can confirm this or not. What I was saying is that there may be native speakers who may find schedule or schedule as easier than plan to understand. But this is something debatable. In those languages where you do have a basic vocabulary and this basic vocabulary has been codified, these are the words that one must refer to. So all the synonyms that you may have are all to be translated with the simpler word in the vocabulary. Examples must be used when creating easy to read texts. Of course, this is a little difficult when you need to adapt an audiovisual text, as you may imagine, because we don't have the control over the original text. If we have to subtitle in easy to read language a film or a documentary, we don't have time to expand. We cannot give examples. But if you generate a text, if you produce a text, then you should always provide an example for every sentence that you make that is a little bit abstract. Sentences must contain maximum one meaning, so no two meanings per sentence. We should avoid acronyms and numbers. And repeating words is a good way of having people understand what you want to say. I say this because in many languages, English included, repetitions is considered as poor is considered as low register, while repeating words, even repeating the same words over and over again, is considered as something good, positive, and that facilitates understanding. Easy to read is not just written language. It is also a lot of multimodality. So when it comes to the fonts, they say don't use serif fonts. They prefer sans serif fonts, but not any sans serif font. For example, we have proved that Arial is a very bad sans serif font because there are letters like uppercase I and lowercase l that are very, very similar. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Here I have put them together. L is slightly thinner, but you put them together, they exactly look the same. So the preferred text font is Verdana, which is something that we need to bear in mind when subtitling, for example, because in subtitling, fonts are even more important because the user cannot use their reading speed to read the subtitles. They have to rely on how good the subtitles were made by the subtitler.
Yeah.
Related to multimodal, yes? No. Related to multimodal,
yes.
yeah. Okay. Thank you for confirming. When it comes to multimodality, another aspect is the background. So we need to make sure that text is easy to read, meaning a good contrast. If you use the WCAG norms, it should be minimum 4.5 points per point. So no yellow on yellow, no black on colored background, no any color on pictures. And every sentence or every idea or every paragraph should be accompanied by pictograms, which include photographs, drawings, or symbols. There are specific norms even for that. So images should illustrate meanings, should support the idea of the meaning, should be pertinent, should be clear. So, for example, if you want to use photographs for a school, it needs to be clear that the people outside are students, children, and that the building behind that is the school. You cannot have a picture with too many things on it because otherwise the attention of the viewer may be distracted. So pictures are there to not to replace meanings, but to support, to strengthen the idea that is conveyed by the by the sentence. There are many best practices out there. Inclusion Europe has a fantastic website containing a lot of things. There is a section with interviews to people who do something in the disability studies. One interview that I always use, even for my students, is an interview to this guy who is the choreographer of a dance company in Portugal that has been translated into easy language, and then it has been validated by validators. So people whose job is that of saying, yes, this is easy to read, because these people have different types of reading difficulties and intellectual disabilities. As you see, there is one sentence, then a full stop, and then a new line, a new sentence. I didn't manage to put all sentences on a new line because I didn't have much space. But yeah, the idea is that every line is a new line. And as you see, the standard language to the left is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. It's 2 sentences. The first one is 7 lines, the other one is 2 lines. So a sentence that is 7 lines has been translated into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sentences. Who are the intended users? Well, basically, I have already covered this aspect, this topic. So easy to read language was created. The intention was that of having people with intellectual disabilities as the target audience. But as we have seen from the little research that was carried out, also people with little command of a foreign language, so for example, migrants or tourists, can find easy to read language beneficial to their understanding, especially if they live in a country, especially if they are interested in a content that is of interest to them. People with low literacy, so for example, people who have low literacy or who have stopped reading or listening because they have started doing a job or because their faculties have diminished by the time. But also think of people who have moved to another country, who have stopped talking the language, their native language, so their command of their native language has decreased a lot by the time. All these people are potential beneficiaries of easy-to-read language, and there are studies. Currently, I'm involved in a project called IDEM, IDEM, that is using easy-to-read automatic translation in democratic contexts where people of various backgrounds, so migrants, elderly people with low literacy, and people with intellectual disabilities, they all use this app to participate in democratic contexts. And we have seen that they are potential beneficiaries of easy-to-read language because they are ideally more included in the decision-making process. Case studies are under testing. We will carry out the official ones next year, but there is a lot of enthusiasm among the first testers. Also, people not understanding a given topic can be potential beneficiaries of a given text in easy-to-read language. I have a short video that I will play afterwards if I will have time. I think so, but I'm not sure. So I leave it for now. I make the slides available so you can access both videos if you are interested. When it comes to to audiovisual translation, so to easy subtitling, easy audio description, easy dubbing, Easy to read and subtitling has been tested. There are not really, there are not many products that are made accessible. There are more, which is something that is the opposite compared to what happens in other fields. There are more contents that are produced originally accessible, that are born accessible in easy to read language. For example, the Austrian, there is an Austrian broadcaster, I don't remember the name of it now, that produces the news in easy to read language. But easy to read subtitles are less common. All the people I've talked to, all the practitioners, all the scholars, all the professionals, and also people with intellectual disabilities I talk to, they say that either they have never seen easy to read subtitles, or if they have seen easy to read subtitles, it was in a project, not in the real world. So if you have knowledge of easy to read subtitles made accessible in the market, please tell me, because I'm also curious. The main benefits are those that of reducing the attention on reading the subtitles and more attention on the overall audiovisual experience. Actually, this is also something that we are discussing when it comes to standard subtitles, because as you know, Netflix is pushing subtitles to what some colleagues call autobahn subtitles. So subtitles that read exactly what is said without any limit when it comes to characters per second. So if somebody speaks very quickly, you have subtitles that say exactly what is said, meaning that the attention of the reader, of the viewer, is 90%, sometimes 100% on the reading experience, and the audiovisual experience is basically lost. They don't have time to
Hello.
watch images. Yes,
I think it
Agnieszka.
was Ofcom, not Netflix, no?
Doing what? Netflix, what I'm saying
Yeah,
is
Autobahn
that
subtitle. No, because Netflix does have the limits, right? It's typically 17 or 20, depending on the type of subtitles, right? So I think Pablo meant, when he was talking about Autobahn subtitles, he meant the new Ofcom regulations in the UK.
yes, maybe I was not clear. What I was trying to say is that Netflix, compared to traditional guidelines, has set guidelines like the 17 or 20 that you mentioned. But for example, if you check BBC guidelines said 15 or sometimes 12 when it comes to children. Netflix is trying to push the limit farther and farther, and the idea is that of having the subtitlers not to respect any characters per second, so that it is easier for them to produce verbatim subtitles. As of today, yes, you're right. They still have this limit of 17 characters per second for hearers and 20 for deaf people, deaf adults. But these limits are higher compared to the more strict limits that broadcasters like BBC or the national broadcasters have. So yes, you provided more detailed information. There is this idea now of avoiding these characters per second limits and only have verbatim subtitles. The problem is that there is no much attention. The viewers spend too much time reading the subtitles and not much on images. So easy to read subtitles do the opposite. They try to maximize the audiovisual experience by reducing attention on the reading experience, and by only providing in subtitles the minimum that is necessary for the audience to understand an idea. We will see an example in a few minutes. When it is applied to voiceover dubbing or original production, again, we only have experience of original productions in easy-to-read language. So far, I don't know of easy language voiceover or easy language dubbing. There may be examples, but all the people I've talked to, they all say it's something that they've only either seen in experiments or projects, or they have never experienced that. The main benefits is again that of facilitating comprehension of the narrative content and of the expressive content, but for a larger audience. So, for example, action, even in movies that are not action movies, can be prioritized so as to facilitate overall understanding. We know that, for example, the news are very quick. So even for a hearing audience, the news in standard language are sometimes too quick, and there are studies that prove that the overall understanding of hearing people is not 100% when it comes to the news. Audio description, again, EASIT project has produced experiments in easy-to-read audio description. The main benefits are the focus on simplifying the essential story elements, so that there is a more fluent and enjoyable audio experience to users. The problem is that audiovisual contents are more and more spoken. There is more and more dialogue. There are less and less pauses. So basically, audio describers are already forced in many cases to produce oversimplified audio descriptions compared to an ideal audio description. And there are some solutions like that of pauses in the middle of the video to provide enough information for audience, or audio introductions. So what cannot be told in the audio description is told in an audio introduction. This to say that audio description is already a challenged form of translation, because the audiovisual content is characterized by more and more dialogue and less pauses. Interpreting, there are some projects that have started on easy to read interpreting, or also easy to read live subtitling. There are not many, but there are some colleagues that are telling me that they are doing this. I have done this twice in my life, but there are some colleagues who offer this on a regular basis, meaning that once every 2 months they offer this type of service. So it's not something that you can sell as of now, because there is not a huge market, but there are some first experiments that are quite encouraging. When it comes to easy subtitles, and I will finish in a few minutes, several experiments have been carried out. I've mentioned EASIT several times already. These settings are will be published in an article that Rocio Bernabé and I have written for the JAT, and that will hopefully appear soon. We have developed these guidelines based on previous articles and experiments by Rocio Bernabé and Piero Cavallo, and other previous contributions. So we have found that this is the best so far way of subtitling a commentary. sorry, a documentary. The place of the subtitles should always be at the bottom, so as not to distract the audience. Maximum 2 lines, and so far it's more or less the same that happens in the subtitling market. When it comes to characters per line, it's better to have shorter sentences, shorter lines, so maximum 32 characters, spaces included. Font type Verdana, as we have already said. The font size should be larger than the standard one. Font color, we have tried the use of different colors, but apparently they don't manage to understand the usefulness of colors. But here it may be the fact that they are not used to them, not that they don't find it useful. So they have said only go for white on a black box, or a black, how to say that, contour. The contrast, the minimum contrast should be 4.5 to 1. The minimum gap, they don't care about the minimum gap, so they say avoid minimum gaps.
May I jump in here? Why
yes.
would that be? Because the whole idea of having a gap is for your brain to notice that another subtitle appeared, right?
I was also surprised, but what happens basically is that because even if you go for 12 characters per second, which is what I have written later, basically they stick to the reading. So their audio, even if I have just said that the idea of easy subtitles is that of allowing people to focus on images, what happens is that without letting them decide how much time to spend on the video, so without letting them to pause the video, they spend most of their time on reading the subtitles. So basically they don't find it useful because they stick to the subtitles because they are afraid of losing of missing words. So again, maybe this is something that happens because they are not used to having easy to read subtitles. But that's what happens. So they say we don't care if there is a gap or not. But I agree with you. I had the same doubt, and what I think is that they are not used to reading easy subtitles. Once they will get used to reading subtitles, maybe they will want the minimum gap because we know that the minimum gap is useful for letting people understand that there is a new subtitle appearing. When it comes to synchrony, it is very similar to what was done once with deaf subtitles for the deaf. So the synchrony should be as much as possible with audio and the images. But as you will see in the experiments that was approved and carried out, that is behind this project that is described in this article, the synchronization is more on images than on the dialogue because the dialogue is heavily edited. And sentences 1 per subtitle. So I will show you now, because we don't have more time, the result of this experiment that we have carried out and that was finalized and validated. The video has subtitles. I hope you can hear the audio. Please tell me if you don't hear the audio so that you can compare the video and what is written in the subtitles. And after that, we can comment on everything you want. Can you see it?
The stage manager is strictly there to facilitate, supervise, and to make other people's visions come true. You're making sure that the play is happening when it's supposed to be happening, that everyone that's involved with the show and the play knows what they're doing. So in pre-production, the stage manager's job a lot of times is just pumping out a lot of paperwork, making schedules, printing out the schedule, the script, scene breakdowns. Inside the rehearsal room, You generally have your actors, your stage management team, your director, and his or her team. And then outside of the rehearsal room, you have a whole army of people working to put this production on. It's the people that are physically hanging the lights, the people that are testing and running the sound cables. And so the stage management really is the key to letting everyone know and be on the same page as far as information. So in the rehearsal room, the director is very much in charge and the stage manager is there to help facilitate and keep that room on track. And then once you move into the theater, that kind of shifts. And it's a stage manager who is helping making sure everything's happening at the right time. So you're putting in the light cues, you know, and then you also are having the actors. And the actors are like, oh, so where am I supposed to be? Places. So basically you kind of play the parent and you just make sure everyone's doing their right job. Then you move into previews. It's a great process for whenever you start to invite an audience into the space, into the theater. You finally have a live audience to bounce and feel their energy and just feel how that changes things. And then once you open, that'd kind of be the next phase in the play's process or journey. Then at that moment, nothing's supposed to be changed. Go. From that moment on, that is the show. These are the lights, these are the levels, this is the set, that is the costume piece you're gonna have. The play is frozen. All right, kitchen and reset. It's your job then to make sure that the director's vision is being maintained. In college, I discovered stage management, and I kind of just fell into it. I like things to be in their row. Everything has its place in my apartment, in my life, and I'm always on time. You know, I'm just kind of, I guess I'm that type. I'm that person. And so stage management just kind of came naturally, because stage management's about making schedules and adhering to those schedules. And because if you don't adhere to them, then everything else backtracks, and it's money. Time is money. I found theater young, and it was always my dream to be in it in some way, shape, or form. And here I am, I'm 25, and I'm in it. I love it. I love what I do. And I've been very fortunate. I won't lie, especially theater. A lot of it is about who you know and when you know them. Your talent and skill get you to the table. But then everything else is fate. And I've been very lucky to be so fortunate in my fate. Well, I've had some great cards thrown my way.
This is it. So could you see the video and the subtitles? Okay.
Yes.
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 Great.
Thank you.
So this is it.
Wonderful.
If you have comments and things to say, questions, I'm happy to discuss this.
I saw in the video there was a sentence, and I was wondering, you know, you said that you shouldn't have negative sentences, and it said some things cannot change, I think was in the subtitle. Is that a negative sentence in the sense that you mean, or not?
Yeah, clearly it's a negative sentence, but as I also added, I don't know if it was I wasn't clear enough. There are some negative sentences that are more common than the positive version. So
Okay.
if the alternative is saying things should remain the same,